Hi guys, I'm your host Sybil and welcome to Take 254. Today I'm going to do a recap of The Summer I Turned Pretty. It dropped on Amazon Prime back in July 14th. That's just last week on Friday. They dropped the first 3 episodes of season 2 and they'll be doing a week by week release of the next 4 episodes. So last season, the first season of The Summer I Turned Pretty dropped last year around the same time, summertime, and I really enjoyed the show. It came out during a period where these shows with Asian leads were really doing so well on these streaming platforms. Like on Netflix, we had To All the Boys I Loved Before with Laura Jean and all that going on, and I thoroughly enjoyed that. And after that, we had the Crazy Rich Asians movie that did pretty well in the theaters. It was a theater release and also did well on video on demand. And now a follow-up to all that is and Never Have I Ever on Netflix too. So all these shows with Asian leads were doing so well, especially in the teen, young adult romance category, teen dramas. And so The Summer I Turned Pretty is about a girl named Isobel, nicknamed Belly, who her and her younger brother and her mother, they go to this her mom's friend's home during summertime to spend the summer with them in a place called Cousins in Massachusetts. And in Massachusetts at Cousins, she has these 2 boys and her friend's mom. These are her sons, and she has been childhood friends with these 2 boys, all her life. And they're named Jeremiah and Conrad. Jeremiah is the younger brother, and she's always had a little crush on Conrad her entire life because she says he's treated her well. He always did little things to include her, and he's older than all the other kids, like 2 years older. So he had that older, bigger brother vibe to him, cooler, bigger brother, and she had always had a crush on him. So that's the story we have. Isobel, nicknamed Belly, who goes to this place named Cousins with her brother and her mother during the summertime to hang out with her mom's best friend from college and her 2 sons, Jeremiah and Conrad. So in season 1, we left off with Belly. The whole premise of this show, The Summer I Turned Pretty, was like Belly had this whole awkward phase, like who among us didn't? Awkward phase growing up, and then she glowed up all of a sudden around the age of 14 in the book. So it's based on a book series which I haven't read, but I've seen spoilers for the book, so I already know how it's going to go. Although the series seems to be taking some creative liberties, which I like. Like in the book series, Isobel, Belly, is a white character, but they have race swapped her into an Asian character. So the book series was written by this lady, an Asian lady named Jenny Han, and she had actually wanted the lead in this book series of The Summer I Turned Pretty to be an Asian lady, but an Asian girl. But during this era, it came out in the early 2000s. It has a lot of the problematic tropes of early 2000 YA romance books. And her publishing company at the time would not publish the book and would not support her and back her if she didn't change the lead into a white girl. So she had originally wanted it to be an Asian lead, but because of money and the times, she couldn't do that. So she's had a lot of creative input in the series, and it was her idea to race swap Isobel Belly into a half Asian, half Korean, actually, to be specific, half Korean, half white character. So in the series, she's half Korean, half white. And also another big change that they made from the books to the series is Jeremiah. That's one of the 2 boys that Belly gets into a love triangle with, the younger brother to Conrad. in the books it's hinted at that he's bisexual, but in the show they make him full-on bisexual and he's out in the open with it. And we actually see him in season 1, you know, flirting with guys, making out with guys. He's very sexually fluid and free. He's a bisexual king. We love him. Very good looking guy. He looks like a Greek god statue come to life. Very good looking guy. And he was actually my favorite character in season 1. The guy who portrays him, you know, it's easy to like him because he's good looking, but also his character is just a lot of fun. A lot of the lightheartedness of the show came from him. He did a lot of heavy lifting with that. And also the chemistry between the actors who portray Belly and Jeremiah seems to be the strongest of all the cast. They have a very good chemistry between them. So I'm actually a Jelly. I'm Team Jelly. I know it's in vain because Belly has a heart set on Conrad, as she always has. But just because I like the character of Jeremiah so much and how the actor who portrays him, I'm just so Team Jeremiah. Yes, he has his flaws. He has a manipulative streak. He's a bit jealous. But that also makes him just more likable to me because he feels like a real teenage boy. All of these are kids. All of these are teenagers, you know, all these people. So it's a coming to age story. I also like Belly. I like that she, you know, when she glowed up, when she when she got her chance to tap into her pretty privilege, her newfound pretty privilege, which is a great premise for the show, you know. The title of the whole show and the book series is The Summer I Turned Pretty, and kind of exploring how people treat you so differently once you look different physically, when you're more physically attractive. So I liked her character too. I enjoyed her in the first season and how much fun she got to have flirting with different boys, starting off with this character named Cam Cameron, then jumping from Cam Cameron to Jeremiah, and in the end of the show at this cotillion, ending up with the boy she has always liked and had her eyes on this entire time, ever since she was a little young girl, who is Conrad. So in the first 3 episodes, we pick up, so another side B story of this Summer I Turned Pretty series is that Belly's mom and Conrad's mom are, you know, friends from college, and she's going through, spoilers by the way if you haven't watched, she has cancer and it's not looking so good and she may probably die. And in the second season, we pick up where she's already passed on, and we have flashbacks to her funeral and how people, her sons, have been dealing with grieving, and how just everyone is impacted by the death of, you know, Belly's mother's friend. So in the first 3 episodes, they were kind of slow, but, you know, I feel like it's gonna pick up, and I'll be doing a play-by-play, episode to episode, you know, review as they are dropping the episodes. So this Friday I will do a review for the episode 4. And yeah, so Belly, she and Conrad got together at the end of season 1. So in season 2, we pick up in flashbacks, we see how they tried to develop, you know, a relationship. At first, they tried to keep away from each other because they just felt it would be, especially Belly, she felt like it would be too messy with everything that's going on with their mom, potentially, you know, going through cancer and potentially at death's door, about to die. Her and Conrad just made this decision to hit a pause on their relationship. But of course, obviously they didn't stick to it. Slowly by slowly talking on the phone, then they were meeting up. And spoilers, Belly and Conrad ended up doing it. And back in Cousins, they actually went back to Cousins, back to the summer house, and that's when the two of them shared the first night with each other and lost their virginity to each other. So that was a big development that happened in the first 3 episodes. Another thing is that they broke up just right before Conrad's mom ended up passing away. You know, Conrad has this side to him where he pulls away, he pushes people away. He never likes to share his feelings and have people around him in his life just help him and be there for him. So him pushing people away ended up messing his relationship with Belly. So they broke up, and at the funeral they had this big falling out because he was with another of his exes, getting comforted by her, but he was avoiding Belly, pushing her away, and she walked in on them hugging. It looked sketchy, whatever was going on between them. Belly had a big blow up about it, words were exchanged, I hate you, all this, just a lot of drama. So that's the last time either one of them had seen each other face to face. That was at Conrad's mother's funeral. And Belly and Jeremiah were also on the outs because Jeremiah felt some type of way because he and her were kind of building a relationship, were getting together, until she switched on him and went to Conrad, who she was always into. She was not as into Jeremiah. It just seemed like he was more of a friend and a distraction as she was waiting for Conrad to come around to liking her. So Jeremiah also felt some type of way about Belly, and he and Belly were not on speaking terms this entire time. So I have from these 3 episodes that far, as I said, I'm team Jeremiah. I'm team Jelly, mostly because I like the character of Jeremiah. He's in the show, in the series so far. But I also like the dynamic that Jeremiah and Belly have. When Jeremiah and Belly are together, the dynamic between the two of them is just like it's so refreshing. Like, they can go from having a brother-sister dynamic to best friends to, lustful, this physical attraction. And I also like how the two of them, because they seem to be on equal terms, an equal playing field, like they push each other and they can grow together and come up with solutions together. When she's with Conrad, I hate this trope that's there, especially with YA novels, YA series, that as a girl, if you have to be beholden to the guy that you liked when you were 8 years old, like, because you liked a guy when you were 8 years old and you've always liked him, like, it always has to be that way. Like, regardless of what other love interests may come your way, what other love interests may even be better for you, it's like they always have to find a way to make the girl, the main love interest, always go back to the guy that she's always liked, just because it's always been that way, so it always has to be that way. So that's a trope that I really hate. And also, just Conrad is so, he falls into a lot of those tropes, like a guy who's mean to you, likes you. He doesn't really put into any effort into Belly, like in terms of care, just showing that he likes her. They don't really, when they're together, there's always just a lot of drama and tension, and that's supposed to show that, oh, their love is real because of all this drama and heartache and tension, and how hard Belly has to fight to prove to Conrad that she's worthy of him. And just when they're together, their relationship is almost like an altar to idealize Conrad. Everything is always about Conrad. He sets the tone for the relationship the entire time. If Conrad is unhappy, the two of them, everything is unhappy, and it's always about trying to figure out why Conrad is unhappy. Just a lot of hand holding and playing like surrogate mother / surrogate therapist to a guy. And I'm like, I don't want this for Belly. She's a young teenage girl who just she should be out having fun and just exploring and enjoying her life, not playing surrogate mother / therapist to Conrad. So that's why I'm team Jeremiah. She just gets to have fun with Jeremiah, and they get to push each other. Their personalities really complement each other and just grow as individuals and together as a couple. So even though, Belly has her sights sets on Conrad and will probably end up with Conrad, I just like Jeremiah and I want the best for him, and I hope they find some other person to come in and be a worthy love interest for him. So yes, that's my recap and review of season 2 of The Summer I Turned Pretty on Amazon Prime, and I'll be doing a episode by episode recap and review as they drop them every Friday. Thank you so much. Bye.